Hey, this is Naka. I want to kind of address what's going on here. I got an email saying that there is an update on when they're going to be doing the test. It's the open part of it, I believe, is supposed to be in December, but the actual pre-alpha is going to take place in October and November. This is some pretty interesting news. I'm seeing here that they are also kind of like trying to figure out or just like let people know that there is minimum specs and recommended specs. And I'll go over these here shortly. But yeah, so it says the first stress test for Vanguard will take place toward the end of October and November this year. So it's going to be something similar to what happens on the Sissy server, where it's not actually connected to Eve. It's got its own connection, or isolated server, more than likely, and they're going to try and like overload it or have some big, you know, big thing going on and try to make it break essentially. And just based on the wording, I don't know if they're actually going to do this. Um, so yeah, I got this email from them. They said this. It does say before you sign up, make sure your PC meets the minimum requirements here. Um, this is interesting. I mean, it is. It did look like it was having some performance issues on stage. And my guess is they were using some pretty high end machines. Um, Unreal Engine 5 is a pretty new engine. It hasn't really been seriously tested in the industry. It kind of just came out, or they just finally made stuff for it, and it's likely there's still some learning on how to at least some development needed to figure out how to optimize some of the very realistic graphics that the engine can produce. So this is interesting because it's asking for, it says GTX 2060, but really it means RTX 2070 or 2060. So interesting, but this is some pretty high low minimums, like to minimum specs. Um, so I'd be roughly equivalent to a like a GTX 1070 or or pretty much any 30 series. So it's not super high, but I mean it's still above the uh like GT 1650 and or not GT what's it called? Yeah, I think it's GTX. Yeah, it's a GTX 1650 Ti. So this is still higher than the budget options for most modern computers. Um, this is all pretty standard. 30 gigs of free space on your SSD. Interesting. So 30 gigs. That means that it is a full-fledged game, but it's not really big like some games like Call of Duty where it's like 100 gigs. So it says something about kind of how it's set up. I mean, it's still a lot, but I think that's a lot because it's very high resolution textures in the game, and from the demo we've saw, it wasn't that big. So, but the recommended is gonna, it's gonna be something pretty substantial. So, RTX 3080 is it's not bad. I mean, that's still pretty. I'm sure it could go better, but from kind of the minimum specs, I feel like it's gonna be the more power you have, the better. Um, when you click on you know, the Vanguard thing, it just brings you back to the same thing coming in December. So it it's interesting that they sent this out with this button in here, it doesn't have any more purpose than what you've already done to get this email. Or I got this email because I have Omega. So we'll find out. We'll find out kind of in the next you know couple weeks here. I'll keep you guys updated on where and when and how this game is going to come out, and I'll have some footage to show for it. So stay tuned. All right, peace.